Hi everyone, I'm Anisha. Welcome to my channel on astrology and tarot. We're going to be looking at your 2022-23 astrology horoscope. We have another intense year ahead. You must have been, for those of you who follow astrology, you must have been reading a lot about the Pluto return that is there. And the Pluto return is happening in the United States, and that is where that it is going back to after 248 years. Now it's an intense period, to say the least. Unfortunately, yes, there's another year of a lot of strife as far as power and economy is concerned. Personally, I think a lot of the Plutonian rumbles started around 2008, and that's the time when Pluto entered Capricorn. And in the charts of the US, which is cast for signing of Declaration of Independence in 1776. The planet Pluto sits in what we call as the second house, which is the house of ownership of our earned money. It's about our own sense of self-worth as well. And Pluto, when it entered Capricorn over here in the second house for the United States, Pluto is known as the Lord of the Underworld. He's everything about life and death, about transformation, about regeneration, about rebirth. It really speaks about our own shadow side as well. What is it that needs to be given up? What is it that really needs to be changed? And unlike Saturn, wherein it comes in, Saturn will give us a life lesson for about a 2-year period, depending on how long Saturn is transiting for us. Pluto, because it's not just a slow moving planet, it is also extremely potent, is going to be pulling everything from the past, everything that has been resolved, whether it is a career that you've just been sitting on and you've not been doing anything about it. It could also be a relationship. You could be in a marriage which could be, say, for about 15-20 years, and you may just look back at it and you may just say, I do not see as to why is it that I'm in this relationship at all. So it makes us question our own sense of self-worth. And over here, because more so because it's in Capricorn, Pluto, and Capricorn rules the sea goat, the mythological sea goat, which can climb any mountain, it can go over any obstacle. So over here, the need to succeed. That's what the sea goat does. It has to succeed. It has to overcome any obstacle, anything that comes in its place. So over here, we're dealing with our shadow side, which requires a lot of work on the self. A lot of sense of self-worth has to be driven about that, whether we deserve this or not, or are we up to it to be able to take on the next challenge, or are we able to let go maybe a sense of false selfhood that we've created for ourselves so that we can embrace the new us. Now we'll talk a little bit about Pluto, and I'm going to just explain a little bit as to why there is so much of, I won't say dread really, but a lot of trepidation around, what Pluto is really going to be doing for all of us. And I think it would be worth your while to have a look at your charts and look at your rising sign to see where Pluto is there. And also because we have a Venus retrograde as well this year, it would be worth your while as to see as to where exactly Venus is transiting. But importantly, I would focus on Pluto this year. So Pluto, as far as the mythological stories are concerned, he is linked to the Greek god Hades, and who was the lord of underworld, and he was rather unyielding in his the way that he ruled. He was an absolute control freak, and with him, the myth is associated all around transformation, about resurrection, the shadows of the riches, of the unseen, and the life and the death and rebirth cycle all around it. The most poignant Plutonian myth is around the one that he shares with Persephone, and on From some accounts at least, Persephone was abducted by Hades to become his wife and to help rule his realm. Now, most accounts describe her abduction and initiation into the underworld as a very intense process, and she was stripped of the life that she had known in order to undergo a rebirth that enabled her to rise up and become one of the most powerful deities in the Greek mythology. So, in astrology, the symbolism of Pluto in our birth chart is associated with similar processes of transformation. Pluto transits often accompanying periods in our life that seem to take us down in order for us to rise up really back and really claim what is truly ours. And that may demand that we surrender every ounce of our power so that we may remember what it is to own and wield our power responsibly. It's some really heavy stuff. So, Aries, we're going to be starting with you. And we have Pluto that is there in your house of career, your house of reputation. So a lot of focus is here, and I would say even in 2023 is going to be around power and control and how it is that you keep your power. And this house, it rules your career, it rules your goals, it rules your direction. And with Pluto transiting over here, you can experience a lot of power struggles, you can experience control issues, and especially for those of you who do not care in which career you are. You are just obsessed about succeeding, and it's just a power high for you. It could become quite difficult for you, as in that there could be some failures that or some setbacks that you will be forced to really look at as to how it is that you're going about the path of success. The tip, Aries, for you to be surviving the Plutonian transit is that if you're really not happy in the work that you're doing, work on plans to change what you do and what you love. If you love what you do, you'll see lesser of these struggles of power and control. And there may be people who could be threatened by you, no matter what you do, but you need to be really keeping your cool. And if you manage to do that, if you manage to come across as calm and composed, you could be perceived as somebody who's powerful, who's strong, who's capable. Also, make sure that you're making room for things that are not goals, but just rather things that you would like to do or people you enjoy being. Everything does not have to be like a tick off from a checklist that yes, you need to be doing this, you need to be achieving that. At times it's just a flow of life which you need to be participating in. If you do not give attention to your loved ones, it can be that during this time you could stand to lose a lot as well. So also at the same time, try not to be too hard on yourself and work on learning a lesson on quickly coming back. It'll be important also to see whether there is another planet that is transiting for you in your house of work during this time, especially if there is a Saturn or a Uranus, and I would be slightly concerned about it. We also have a Venus retrograde that is there in your house of your work, your career, your reputation, and how it is that the world perceives you. And it is there till about end of January. So this is a time where you could become quite conscious about how it is that people perceive you. What is your reputation worth? And in fact, what is your reputation? And the shortest way to attain success is going to be defining as to, really defining it well. You can't get what you want if you do not know what is it that you want. So you may discover that you're, not worried about attaining what you really want to attain in the first place. So it may not just be that you may not um, be really worried about getting that first sale or that first order or maybe that first project, but around it could be the applause, the validation is really what could be important for you. So it's important that you willingly redefine your goals, especially if they're really unachievable. And like I said, you need to be putting in intangible things along with it as well. On the April 30th, we have a solar eclipse, which is there again in your house of earned income. This is also the house of self-worth, and it is joining Uranus, which is already there for you. So this is the house that speaks about your disposable income. So money matters are going to be quite in focus, and a new moon in this house really speaks about a strong desire to create more money for yourself or increase your income. On the flip side, it is also a time which will encourage you to spend more money just to feel good. I think for a lot of you, if you have really been on the run to make money for the last couple of years, this is a time where you will really want to splurge, but just ensure that you are not just spending the money to make yourself feel good, or it's not in an impulsive purchase. You may regret it later on. However, if this is something that you've been wanting to do for the longest of time, then it's a fabulous time to be doing so. Just ensure that you have been planning or budgeting for it. And because this house also rules self-worth, it could be a wonderful time to be increasing your sense of self-worth, or even an opportunity for personal growth as well. You may want to be in touch with your own personal senses. Also, this is a time you could feel quite stimulated. So try and especially stay away from things. Especially if there is substance abuse, or there is getting involved in too much of psychic practices, because you could end up getting overtly affected by it. On May the 11th, we have Jupiter that moves into your own house, and it stays there till October 9th. So, and again, we're going to be having Jupiter, which is going to be going retrograde from October 19th till about December, end of December. So this is really your year. You have Jupiter that is there, and Jupiter comes once in every 12 years, and Jupiter in your own house is just going to be encouraging you to really broaden your horizon, really take risks, and really go out and chase your dream. On May 16th as well, we have a lunar eclipse that is there in your house of joint finances, resources, transformation, and sexuality. So focus on money again, for a lot of you. And this again speaks about a time to be uh, looking at transforming something as far as financial power struggles are there, and also maybe something that you need to be releasing in your life, Aries. It can be that financially, maybe you are using money to control others. Maybe you use money as a way to buy love, and this is a time where you really need to be releasing that fear of whether it is not having love or trying to buy love. Maybe not having love is not a right word, but you need to be letting go of the fear and the anxiety that you will not be liked, you will not be loved if you do not do certain things for people. So it's one thing to want to do things willingly, but it is another if you are trying to, it's unhealthy. If you're trying to sort of buy that love, do more than is required for you. For you again, this year is a fabulous time to be transforming things, both physically and physically. It could be, maybe you're renovating your home. Um, you could be even dealing with your own sense of external self. You could be undergoing a complete wardrobe change. Maybe some of you will do something really drastic with your hair, so you could just be doing a complete makeover. But for a lot of you, this also speaks about dealing with intimacy. It speaks about dealing with security, and issues related to other people's money could come up during this time, and you may end up using a rather large chunk of money, perhaps even lending that money to a friend, to a family member, or some of you could even settle an outstanding debt. So if you're in need of a loan, or you want, maybe to pick up another, uh, have rather include another partner as far as finances are concerned, just to ensure that it is absolutely necessary for you and that you have evaluated it completely. Between September and November, we have a square that is there between Saturn and Uranus, and this is happening between, again, your house of your money and your friendships. So you could feel quite polarized between these two areas. Again, it speaks about buying friendships. It again speaks about maybe doing more than it is required, and maybe it's a time to be letting go of you know I wouldn't say relationship, but maybe that extra effort that you've been putting on to hold certain people in your life. On the 25th of October, we have a solar eclipse that is there in your house again of your joint finances, and we have a lunar eclipse that is there on the 2nd. So, again, a lot of focus on eclipses in October around finances, joint finances, and also around sexuality and transformation. We have Mars that is going retrograde in Gemini on the 31st of October, and this is there in your house of communication. So, great time end of October to be trying to get into a collaboration, trying to, maybe whether it's a negotiation, and it's a lot of focus is there on really communication over here. So, use communication rather than force, and also try alternate styles of communication during this time. And also you need to be looking at the past history and seeing as to what is it that really worked for you. November 8th on that is 2022, we have again a lunar eclipse that is again speaking about your earned income and ability. Maybe you could be looking at expanding, and towards the end of 2022 we have Jupiter that is going to be moving back into your house of behind the scenes. That's a house of spirituality, compassion, before it goes direct again, and then Jupiter will move back into your house. So end of 2022 is going to be seeing you in quite a contemplative mode. Maybe it's a time that some of you even decide to undertake a spiritual journey. You get to, know yourself better, or it could just simply be detoxifying emotionally. But it's quite a fabulous year, Aries, especially with Jupiter present over there in your own house. Sky is literally the limit. And of course, pay attention on what is it that needs to be released this year. It's been a pleasure speaking with you, Aries. I'll see you again soon. And thank you so much.